watch this?
How?
Ew,
How do you watch this? Dude, I'm gonna pee my pants.
Hello, you're listening to How Do You Watch This, a movie review podcast where each week we pick a movie that or the other to watch in the genre we love,
But they don't. You got it.
and we review it. My name's Demi, and I love horror.
My name's Megan, and I love romance.
And this is our special episode,
The one everyone's been clamoring for.
our recap of
4 months. I feel like it's been longer.
I know. It's been an eternity already. But yeah, we're basically going to go through our top three
Movies that we've had to watch, and we kind of came up with those on our own discretion, so we'll explain them a bit. And then we're also going to talk about some questions that we have for each other, and we're going to talk about our upcoming changes to the podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
fun stuff.
Yeah. So how about we both have our top 3 movies? We start with the lowest and we take turns.
Okay.
Going with 3, 2, 1.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Well, you can start.
Okay. So my third movie, sorry, I'm laughing because of the fact that I'm so unprepared for this. Demi is such a better podcaster than I am. I literally, poor Demi comes to my house, notes ready to go. She's ready. I'm like, oh, what? Notes. Okay. So we spent the past 15 minutes with her in silence, waiting for me to write my notes.
Okay. You're just a free spirit.
Yeah. I try to spend as little time with horror movies as I can, so
I feel like my mind just brain farts, so I just need something to look off of constantly.
that's fair. So my number 3 movie is Hell House LLC. And so I chose Hell House LLC because of the fact that I did think it was actually really well made. I don't remember what I rated it. I would have
It was pretty decent. You pretty
Yeah.
a good.
I think I gave it a pretty good rating. It scared me. That could be in part because of the fact that it was close to Halloween and my husband spooked me that night.
Yeah, so they actually got the lid standing with the
Made it very iconic. But I think that one was really well made.
Yeah.
And I would recommend it to horror fans.
Yeah.
So I've had a few people ask me what horror movies they should watch. I don't know why they would ask me what horror movies they should watch, but they've asked me that. And that's one of the ones that I recommended because I think that people who like horror would like the quality and the storyline.
I feel like you have a more non-biased view of horror movies, though. Whereas people who watch a lot of horror, they're going to be more biased towards certain horror.
Yeah.
But like you who don't watch a lot, if you like a horror movie, it's probably going to have a good, decent story at least.
Yes. Well, so it's going to be good, and I'm going to be able to tell you if it's really scary or not. But I guess that also means that if you like horror movies, you might not be scared by the same things I'm scared by.
Yeah.
But I guess it's the same with any movie, like romance or whatever.
Right.
You're gonna, whoever's recommending it to you.
Yeah. There's some horror movies that scared the shit out of me, and then some people were like, "Oh, this movie was whack." But
Yeah.
It just depends. I don't like dark spaces. I don't like attic scenes.
Mm-hmm.
I hate attic scenes.
Interesting.
Yeah, they just really creep me out. I had to watch before I watched the movie. Beau Was Afraid. It's not really horror. I don't know how to explain that movie, but I knew there was a reveal in the attic. And I was so nervous for it because I'm like, I really just don't like attics. Like, it freaks me out, and I had to look it up. You wouldn't believe what I read.
What?
I was like, there's no way. There's no way. I kind of wish I didn't read it. So, spoilers for Beau Was Afraid. Just skip the next 10 minutes, maybe.
Okay. Demi's ready to go deep. Okay.
I'm not going to go that deep. But the movie's weird. I'm just going to say the movie's weird. It feels very much like Beau's, like, kind of like in his own world, right? Like, some stuff's not real. You don't know what's real or not. What's in the attic is supposed to be his father, right? His father's been out of his life his whole lifetime. His mom, oh, he's a piece of shit. Apparently, he's in the attic.
What?
And he's just a giant penis monster.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Megan,
Demi, what?
what? I read it and I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. It was literally a giant penis creature.
What? Why? Well, this movie was oral otherwise?
No.
Oh,
the whole movie was batshit. But it was... it feels like... I don't know if it was supposed to be like symbolic of the dad was there to give his penis
Stop.
and then leave. Like, so the mom's just like, that's all he's good for. Like, he was just,
What?
I don't know.
Why would anyone do?
I can't even say if I liked the movie or not. I watched it once and I'm like, I don't even know if
You can't.
it's full cream next and he's amazing.
What?
Yeah, and the movie, I'm like, I don't think I hated it, but I'm like, I don't think I liked it. I just don't know how to explain that movie.
Yeah.
It was well done and great performances, but it was just such a like, I was like, oh, I don't know.
That just reminds me of the Monster Prom. And
it was very much Monster Prom-y. It was weird. Oh,
that's so strange. That feels like a very artistic choice to be like,
yes. The whole movie was very like
deep meaning.
Yeah, it was very artsy, but kind of funny.
Okay.
So, but yeah, nothing would have ever prepared me because that's what everyone was saying. They were like, "You will never be prepared for what's in the attic," and I'm like, it has to be like it has to be so scary. And I'm like, I already have a fear of attics.
You can't make it worse. Do you every time you have to go into an attic now? You're afraid of typing the penis monster?
Think of that giant penis monster.
That's absolutely insane.
Yeah. So anyway.
I am beside myself. I didn't know that was an option. That feels like
a
fever dream.
Yeah. So
anyway, Hell's House. Basically, all I had left to say about Hell's House was that it was a good movie that I thought was enjoyable. It didn't ruin me for life, and I don't really have that much more to say about it. I don't have a lot of critiques for it. It was scary, and yeah.
Just a good old
time. The top 3. Yeah, I wouldn't watch it again. I can say that wouldn't be something that I would have enjoyment with rewatching.
Yeah, I don't know if would make my Halloween movie. So I have a few like movies I watched during Halloween. I don't think it'd make it, but I can see people rewatching it.
Right.
It's just a little spooky. I like a little fun with my Halloween.
Yeah, a little bit more lightheartedness.
Yes.
All right, what was your number 3?
So my number 3 is 10 Things I Hate About You.
What? This is brand new information.
So yeah, everything I already said, Megan knows. So I'm just going to tell the audience and Megan can pretend it's brand new if she wants. I chose this movie because it was the highest rated of the movie I didn't watch before. So it was a 4.5, and I had to add it to the top 3 because it was my most enjoyable of the movies I've watched so far.
Would you rewatch it?
Yeah, I would definitely rewatch it. It's just a fun movie. So I definitely recommend it to anyone who hasn't seen it yet. And it just reminds me of like She's the Man and Mean Girls, like those type of movies. So I just love that type of shit.
Yeah, it's like a classic teen movie.
Yeah, it's just fun. It's fun. And so the one fact I said was the table dance that Julia Stiles did landed her the leading role in Save the Last Dance, which is both great for her, but also just hilarious because that dance scene is so awful to watch.
Yeah, it's so cringe. And Demi said Julia Stiles can't look back and watch the movie, which is fair. Because nobody should ever have to rewatch them dancing as a teenager who think they looked so good.
Yeah. I wonder if she can rewatch Save the Last Dance too.
I was like, I feel like that would be worse. I feel like that would be worse than this one.
It's more dancing.
Yeah, it's all dancing.
Oh, gosh. Okay. You have to definitely recommend that one for me.
Okay, I will. And you also were talking a little bit about, I just want to give the people what they want. We talked a little bit about the high school.
Yeah. So the high school is a real school called Stadium High School, and it's in Tacoma, Washington. And it's a public high school, which you gotta look up.
Yeah,
it looks like a castle.
Right. I was convinced that they would be charging admission.
No, yeah, exactly. I wonder if you can do events there, like a wedding or something.
I feel like they would be dumb not to. Like, I mean, make your money where you can make it.
Right. Outside. It doesn't have to be like inside the school.
Right. I know a lot of schools do rent out space.
Okay.
So I would be surprised if they didn't.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, it was built in the late 1800s. So that's why it looks the way it looks. And it was supposed to be a luxury hotel, but there were financial issues and shit. So it didn't work out. But it's been a school since 1906.
Insane.
This is crazy. So yeah, those are my notes about 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yeah.
So
just
number...
a great movie.
Great movie. The other two on my list are
fair enough. So neither are mine.
Yeah. We had to go with something that we actually liked.
Yeah.
Just to add it to the list. Yeah. It's like, all right, now for
the
stuff that actually traumatized us.
Like, how do you watch this? And that's when I bring up Carrie. And so I was kind of debating between this one being 2 and 1, but I decided 2 because my 1, which I'm sure you're going to be,
Not already.
yeah, ruined my life. And so
Almost canceled the podcast.
yeah, really made me question my whole life. So Carrie, I felt like was just, I was saying to Demi that I would have liked Carrie if it wasn't a horror and it had like full character development. We got like a healing moment.
Yeah, Carrie was happy at the end.
Yeah, she learned how to use her telekinesis for good.
Yeah, evil superhero.
Yeah, that would have been a good movie. I don't like movies that have sad endings or bad endings or anything like that. Like those aren't my. I like a nice, happy tie it with a bow moment.
Mm-hmm.
So this doesn't. That means that I'm unhappy every single week we watch this podcast, basically. But there were some things about Carrie that were just like too much for me. So it was just like too much to have the actual evil teenagers who were out for literal blood. It didn't make sense to me. But it's Stephen King, so it doesn't have to make sense.
Yeah, she was just an evil. What was her name? Chris.
Yeah,
She was just evil, just pure evil. And so that was just her character. And I would hope there's no high school girls that evil.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some that are, a little psychotic. But yeah, she was just an evil character. So poor Carrie did not deserve anything that was thrown at her. And her mom too was also an evil character.
Yeah.
So she is dealing with shit at school and at home. Yeah. You couldn't get a fucking break. So.
No. So I'll talk a little bit about the fun facts that I didn't cover, because Carrie was one that I hadn't been looking up fun facts about back when we recorded that. So a couple of interesting things. First of all, Psycho had a little bit of an influence on it. So the name of the high school was Bates, and the 4-note violin theme from Psycho was used repeatedly throughout. The fire hose scene actually burst one of the actress's eardrum, and she lost hearing for 6 months in that year.
That's just so fucking crazy.
Which is like, I would have been like, give me a bonus or a raise or something, because
she had to be like a stunt actor, right?
They gave the actual actress's name and I did not.
It could have been like, hey, is it cool if we shoot you with a
hold on, I'm gonna look. Okay, trivia. PJ Soul. Norma. Who's Norma?
Oh, that's the one with the hat.
The evil best friend?
Yeah. Is that the one who got her ears fucked up?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. So her name's Pamela Jane Souls?
PJ Souls, yeah.
PJ. I know. Awful nickname.
Oh, yeah. So it was, I mean, maybe not the lead, but it wasn't a double.
Oh my god, and this is her film debut.
Dude, that would have ruined my life. If I couldn't hear out of my ear for 6 months, could you imagine the fear that, like, you're never going to hear again?
I mean, that character fucking deserved it, but
yeah, the character
took advantage of a poor young girl to start.
Told me nothing for the
hey, you'll be fine.
Right. Let's just stand up, shoot our rolling fire hose on you.
Just water.
Right.
Like,
I can't imagine. And speaking of not getting paid enough.
It's a good leadway.
Thank you. So Stephen King was only paid $2,500 for the rights to this movie.
Crazy.
It was his first big movie adaptation.
Yeah.
Based on his first book, which I guess it makes sense that these are his first, because they're not his. I mean, I want to say they're not his best, but I know you don't really agree with that.
To me, I don't like his writing, so I can't say what's his best or not. I don't think Carrie is one of his best stories, even for fans. I mean, it was fine. It was like kind of a shorter story, not that long. But yeah, I'd probably say The Shining is probably it, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, his best,
I guess.
Okay.
Like I said, I don't like his writing, so I haven't read them. I read Pet Sematary. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, I haven't read any, and I've not seen most. Seen one, and it was Carrie.
He'll definitely see more. So
oh god. So the scene where Amy Irving, who plays Sue Snell, is laying flowers on Carrie's grave, they actually filmed that in reverse to give it kind of like this eerie feeling to it. And if you look closely, you can see that the cars are moving in the wrong direction.
Never noticed that.
I know.
So cool.
I know. And that's not the only scene they did that with. They also did that with the knives being thrown into the mother. So they attached the knife to the mom with string and then pulled it really hard. So when they played it in reverse, it looked like it was shooting the knives towards her. And I'm not really surprised that they did all these creative sort of film techniques, because they do a lot of those trippy sort of new wave tech. Like, you know how they have that random fast forward scene,
The best scene of the movie.
right? They do a lot of that
Just weird shit.
yeah, I feel like they were just being very experimental with it.
Yeah. I wonder if they were just not having fun, but they were like, oh, we'll try it. Or if it was kind of a thing where the whole Carrie movie with her mind powers, well, if they just wanted things to be a little,
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't either.
interesting choices.
Yeah. So in that scene where Sue is laying the flowers on Carrie's grave, Carrie's hand shoots out of the ground, and Sissy Spacek, who played the character of Carrie, insisted that she be the one to do this scene. And the director was like, no, let's do a double. And she was like, no, I need to do this.
It has to be me.
It has to be me, which no, it doesn't. No one can see. They don't know your hand.
Yeah, no. That's not Sissy Spacek's hand.
Yeah. No. So anyway, she's determined to have that be her hand. So the director did not want to be the one to actually bury her. So they like put her in a box, and then he had the husband bury her, which feels very traumatizing.
Yeah,
I wonder if they're still married.
good question.
Debbie's about to Google it.
Married in 1974, so this has to be someone else, right? No.
Oh, that would
Okay,
make sense.
yeah, Jack Fisk. I guess they're still
Still married? Wow. Well, I guess this really bonded them together.
Yeah, look at that.
I think that if my marriage was
so
burying
cool.
me alive.
Yeah, I would like you're connected, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, she requested it. It's not like he did it against her will.
I just like, oh, that's just like crazy.
No.
Like as the partner, be like, guess
All
I'm
right.
just burying my partner, because then if something goes wrong, like,
Hi.
fuck you.
Yes, you're the one who buried them. I feel like there was a way, like, I really believed that they did not fully bury someone alive. I thought that they did some weird film thing where maybe it was just like on a box and your hand is underneath, but you're like not.
Right. I don't know.
I don't know. I did
Body can.
right
Something. I guess I just didn't think that much.
into it.
I was definitely buried under there.
Yeah. So she was actually buried. Nightmare. That's actually a nightmare. And she must have been very strong-willed to be able to handle that.
Yeah.
And then in the final scene, when Sue Snell like has this outburst and screams, her mother was played by her real life mom, and her real life mom was so scared when Sue burst out that she yelled out the name Amy instead of Sue, because Amy's the actress's name, and you can't hear it because it's drowned out by the ending music.
Some good acting.
Yeah, must be.
Scare your mom like that.
To scare your mom that bad. Horrifying. So that was my number 2.
Number 2.
Your number 2 is?
Number 2 is 50 Shades of Grey. And I chose
That's higher than I thought. Well, okay.
Well, yeah.
Well,
I had to add it because it was iconic watch. I had more fun with it than I thought I was going to. They gave it a 3.2. It probably didn't deserve that high.
No.
But it was it was fun.
I was surprised you rated it that high. When you rated it and you were getting into it, I was like, what?
I know. It reminded me of Twilight too much. Yeah. And I'm biased. So it's definitely an awful movie, but it was fun. It was funny. I wish they didn't have so much sex, but I keep saying that, and it has the sex, like it's supposed to have.
I know.
If it didn't have so much sex, it would be such a fun drinking game.
Yes.
Movie.
It could still be, but I do think that, I mean,
sex things take up 14 minutes.
It's so much, which is so much time.
I wonder if there's an edit that removes the sex.
There probably is somewhere, or you could just fast forward.
That's true.
Which I did during my rewatch.
How long were so long?
It's just excessive. I mean, you can have those scenes in movies and have it add to the plot, but it didn't feel like it added to the plot, which for me, I'm plot over. Like, plot is number 1 for me.
Yeah.
And as much as I like having, a little bit of intimacy and like seeing the people together and all that stuff, I don't need that.
I mean, I get the books were just that, but the movie could have been done.
Yeah.
And it could have been changed a little bit, but I don't know. I guess people were like, I want all the sex scenes.
Right. But I don't. I mean, I also, like I said when we were doing this last time, I wasn't even a fan of the books. So
Yeah. Did you watch any of the other movies or read?
no.
Okay.
Great. I think I started reading the second book,
Okay.
and I don't think I definitely didn't read the third book. I just couldn't. Like I said, it was too much spice for me. I needed more.
I really wanted to watch the other two movies before talking about it, but I just forgot. I didn't have time.
It's the holidays.
I know. It's you can't be watching 50 Shades of Grey.
No.
So I'm first going to talk about some of the extra trivia.
Okay,
in the
great.
first movie, and then we're going to discuss a little bit about 2 and 3 because I had to talk about them.
Yes, I'm so
I just
excited.
looked them up on Wikipedia plot synopsis,
Yeah.
so I assume it's accurate.
Yeah. We forgot to have you cover the newest additions to the Hell House series. It's fine.
Oh, I mean, I could. It wasn't good.
No, it doesn't.
It wasn't good.
Okay.
I think Hell House LLC is still the best one. Apparently, the new one connected a lot of lore. I didn't remember it. It didn't fucking matter. So I don't know. If you like lore, watch it. I guess it's not terrible, but
Good to know.
it's not great. So anyway, 50 Shades of Grey. Remote controlled cameras were used for a majority of the sex scenes,
Stop.
so that it could be more private for the actors. And I don't know if that's better or worse,
I know.
because then it feels more intimate,
Yes.
and I would feel very awkward.
I wonder if they had an intimacy director. Like, that's a new thing.
I think they did. There was someone that talked about, I think it was an intimacy director, or at least someone that
Okay.
assisted. They had to have something.
That's good.
But there were times for the wilder sex scenes that the actors had to spend hours naked in front of like the full crew. And I'm like,
My
hours. I don't know for what.
God.
And so because they had to wear
Those like loincloth things.
yeah, pubic hair was literally
What?
had to hear John.
What?
Going to work and you had to digitally add pubic hair.
What?
Yep.
I didn't even realize they showed pubic hair.
Oh, I was like, whoa. Wow, are they actually naked? No, that was digitally.
Stop.
Yeah.
That's like the whole movie's budget.
Just the
What?
I think it was mostly during Anna's virginity taking.
Okay.
I remember she had pubic hair, and I remember he had pubic hair at like one scene too. So
Oh my God. I literally cannot believe that.
so there's one book sex scene that was not even talked about
Okay.
for good reason.
Okay.
It's a scene where Christian removes Anna's tampon. Sex. And I'm like, there's no way they could make that sexy. There's no way that could be sexy. So thank God. They said it wasn't even like put on the
Ew. Oh my God. Yeah. I don't know how they could have filmed that. You know what I mean? I can't believe that has. I have no recollection of that.
It's probably for the
Yeah.
your brain just
My brain was like, never mind, that didn't happen.
Okay, so those were the trivia for the first movie.
Okay.
So I just want to talk about the 2 and 3.
Okay.
So things that come up in 2. If you remember the end of the first one, it ends with Anna leaving Christian because he spanked her and was really brutal. And
Right. It was
sadistic, and she was like, I'm not doing this. Good for her. She
Yes.
leaves. So the second movie, big things that happen is he's pretty much chasing after her, whatever. He
Right.
breaks ties with Elena, which is that woman that fucking assaulted him as a child.
Yep.
Awful woman. And then we find out his mother was a crack-addicted sex worker, his biological mother.
Yeah.
So the mother we see in the first one is his adopted mother.
Yeah.
His biological mom died of an overdose.
Oh.
He was alone with her body for 3 days.
Oh God, I do remember that. Actually, now that you're saying that.
So the trauma is real.
Yeah.
And then he says he is a sadist who enjoys hurting women who look like his birth mother.
Oh my God. Stop. No.
So he's having sex with women that look like his mom.
Oh no.
And he wants to hurt them. And I'm like, bro.
Therapy.
And it ends with him proposing to Anna and she says yes.
What? What?
How do you say yes to a man that says that to you? I enjoy hurting women that look like my mom, like Anna, like you. First of all, if I look like your mom, I'm out. Ow. Like, I should not be looking like your mom.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
So that's
Am I a little? I mean a lot.
Yeah. So that's the second movie. The third movie, I couldn't even write it down because it was so batshit. I think I'm just going to read it off here.
Okay. Where are you reading it from?
Wikipedia.
Oh, great. Of course.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Wikipedia. So, newlyweds, Christian and Anastasia, are forced to cut their honeymoon short and return home after receiving news of a break-in at his corporate headquarters. Jack Hyde, his former boss, fired for sexual assault, stole some computer files.
What?
Christian surprises Anna with a new house and has hired architect Gia Mateo to build it for her. Anna is annoyed when Gia flirts with Gray in her presence. When Christian's on a business trip, Anna disregards his wishes to stay at home and meets her friend Kate for a drink. Kate is still dating Christian's older brother Elliot and fears Elliot may be having an affair with Gia. His big side. Jack Hyde attempts to kidnap Anna while he gets home.
What?
Anna's new security team subdues him and he is arrested. After arguing with Christian about her night out with Kate, for some reason,
right,
Anna berates him for being controlling and possessive, demanding more freedom.
Good. Yes.
He later surprises her with a trip to Aspen, bringing along Kate, Elliot, Mia, and Jose. Jose is still in the picture, even though he assaults him.
No. Oh my God.
Elliot proposes to Kate, who accepts. It is revealed that Gia was only helping him choose the ring. Crazy.
Oh my God.
The newlyweds continue their sexual experimentation.
No.
But it becomes complicated when Anna announces she's pregnant. Christian is disturbed as he had other plans for their early years together. He leaves, going on a night-long drunken bender. After he returns, Anna discovers that Christian had texted and met his ex-lover, Elena. She gets angry and locks herself in the playroom for the night. He searches for Anna in the morning and they continue arguing, with Anna telling Christian how important the baby is to her. Shortly after, Hyde is released on a $500,000 bond and phones Anna, demanding a ransom of $5 million cash in 2 hours. What? He threatens to kill his mother. Christian's adopted sister. What? Demands about that. Anna must not tell anyone and bring the money alone.
How long is this movie? And
I was like, what is happening?
what?
Anna takes a checkbook and a revolver from Christian's desk and goes to the bank to withdraw the money. The suspicious bank manager calls Christian. He thinks Anna's leaving him, but then notices Mia's unknown whereabouts, and Anna's sudden large cash withdrawal coincide with Hyde's racing release.
Stop.
Of course, Christian's thinking of Hetty's Batman. Hyde instructs Anna to get in the car parked nearby and hand over her phone to the driver. She tricks Hyde by taking the bank manager's phone and slipping hers into the bag of money. She exits the back entrance to discover the driver and Jack's accomplice is her co-worker.
What the hell?
At the drop-off site, a psychotic and vengeful Hyde attacks her, kicking her abdomen.
No, the baby.
The baby. Let's try to stop him as Anna pulls out the revolver and shoots him in the leg. Christian's security team, who just tracked Anna's phone, arrive and apprehend Hyde and Liz.
What?
Anna blacks out as she hears Christian's voice. She wakes up 3 days later in the hospital with Christian at her side. Though angry at her recklessness and still anxious about fatherhood, he realizes how important their baby is to her.
No.
And they reconcile. Christian's adopted mother, Grace, assures him that Anna will not leave him.
What?
Okay. Christian's private investigator, of course, Welch, has left a report showing that Christian and Hyde had shared the same foster family.
What?
He has no memory of this. Hyde was envious of Christian being adopted by the wealthy Gray family instead of him. So Hyde has just been upset
For 30 years?
Hyde also blackmailed Liz into being his accomplice. So Liz is funny.
Yeah, of course.
So then, while Christian's playing his piano, Anna starts remembering their time together and decides she wants to play. After she sends Christian a text message, he joins her in the playroom. 7 months later, they have a son named Teddy. 2 years later,
Teddy?
Yeah, Ed is pregnant with their second child. That's how they...
What? Just jump. Let's go.
Yeah.
Jump 7 months. Jump 2 years.
Yeah.
The end.
So that, I'm happy I didn't watch them because they sound like an absolute nightmare to watch. So those are the 2 movies.
I'm like beside myself that all of that is able to happen in one movie. First of all, the second movie, you were like 1, 2, 3, done.
Yeah.
The last movie, it's like 400 things.
Dude, it has a ransom, kidnapping, blackmail, pregnancy. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that's 50 Shades of Grey. So now we have our art. Number one.
Okay, number one for me. I think this is gonna shock you. I'll surprise you. Barbarian was my number one. And I know you might not believe it, but that one really spooked me.
Was that one that you rated 0?
Yes.
Okay.
It net. Because I think I said 5 out of 5 scariness.
I know you were
Let me
upset.
look. I was very upset. Let me actually look.
I'm just curious if both our number ones are 0-starred ones.
Yeah, let me see. I don't know that I gave it 0 star because I usually don't 0-star things. But
You might have given it like the lowest you could.
okay, so scariness 5 out of 5, enjoyability -5 out of 5.
That's right.
So I gave it a net 1. Barbarian was just, it was so well produced, like really, really well made, and the anticipation I felt the whole time was immense. It really just has you going and thinking like, this guy is a barbarian and he's gonna get her and yada yada. Well, the twist in it really set me. I don't think anything has ever shook me the way that shook me. I was not expecting it.
Yeah.
And I am always jumping and trying to think of what's gonna happen, blah blah blah. I could not prepare myself for that.
No. And it's one of those that some people didn't like because it was so, the twist was just too much. Like it was so like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
For me, it's shocking. Yeah, I enjoyed it. But, I know some people are just like, oh, there's no lead up.
Yeah.
It's like, that's fine. You have your opinion. But, it's just, I don't know, just a batshit movie.
Yeah.
It's what it is.
It really, really is. It's really interesting because the guy who wrote it said that it started off as kind of a thought experiment where he read the book The Gift of Fear, which is all about how women should trust their instincts, and when you're noticing red flags, they're coming up for a reason. So he just did a quick 30-minute writing session where he wrote the story of a woman who is getting increasing red flags from a man and just starts to keep ignoring them. And that's basically the whole. Yeah.
Because it's incredible she survived, because there's so many times where I'm like, stop.
Yes.
What are you doing?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's interesting. Well, I feel like she was written well, and I feel like a lot of female characters are not written well in writings by male directors and male writers and stuff. But I really liked her character, even though she was like not trusting her instincts.
No,
I guess that was the point of it too.
Yeah,
like,
sometimes you make bad calls. You only
in quite a bit of hope.
Yeah.
But I did really like her character. I think she was just a good character.
Yeah, I agree. Did you know that the role of AJ was originally offered to Zac Efron?
No way.
Yes.
Efron.
Can you imagine?
Oh my God.
I know.
I do feel like Justin Long was such a perfect pick
for him. I think so too. And they said that the writer kind of reevaluated the character himself once Zac Efron denied the role.
Okay.
So I wonder how different it changed after then, because it does feel like the perfect Justin Long.
It really, yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, I guess it could have been. I feel like Justin Long really made the movie too.
Yes, it made it way more enjoyable than it would have been had it. The comedy in it is what made it so that I could finish the movie.
I think it made it better. I think if it had no comedy, it would have been too ridiculous. It's like, okay, yeah, this is fun. I like, the naked lady monster prosthetic,
right?
Special effects work, but it's like, it's a little much. But adding the comedy, it's a little goofy, and they kind of realize it's a little goofy, so I think it worked better.
Yeah.
Now I'm curious, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, I love my boy Zach.
I know. I don't know.
That would have been more of like a prick, because
right.
AJ is a prick, but like
he's also dumb,
kind of like sleazy, dumb kind of prick. Where I feel like Zac Efron might have been more of like a cocky type,
right?
I'm handsome, talented.
Yeah, so. I don't really know that that's necessarily the type of role that he would have. Taken on anyway.
Yeah, because this definitely would have been a different role for him.
Yeah,
so he's never done any type of horror or even like thriller type of movie.
Yeah,
so it definitely would have been something different.
He's all comedy or like romance.
Yeah, musical,
but musical, more lighthearted stuff. I think I could be wrong. There's definitely some where he's been sleazier characters, but nothing to this extent.
No.
Yeah,
Justin Long does anything.
Yeah, he really does. So funny. I did not realize it until this. So the mother was fully prosthetics, and it wasn't like a suit. It was like random disparate parts that were placed on. And the guy who played mother had to veet, aka shave, like nair his entire body. His entire body. And originally the makeup person wanted him to get rid of his eyebrows too. And he was like, you're putting prosthetic eyebrows on me. Please don't.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Please don't make me do that. And so he was able to keep his eyebrows.
It looks like this guy's pretty new.
He's a newer guy.
Yeah, it looks like it. It looks like this is his first actual big film.
He didn't know much about the mother character before he started. He said he got on a flight to Bulgaria and was like, fingers crossed.
Oh my God.
And the hair on the bottle, that was an accident at first. And then it was so gross that the director was like, let's keep it. Right.
I hate it.
The title of the movie only uses the letters from Airbnb. So Barbarian uses only letters from Airbnb, which is like a nice little nod.
Oh, yeah.
The street was Barbary Street, which is like, because the guy is barbarian, he's from Barbary Street. Maybe he is a barbarian. There's like all these play on words and stuff that goes into it. Like so much thought went into that. And then the last fun fact is that there was a soft rule not to use any technology that wasn't available at the time when The Thing was made in 1982.
Oh my God.
Which it was not like, I think it was just kind of like a for funsies. Yeah. So they didn't really, I think there might have been one scene where they used modern technology.
Well, I know she had her laptop, but like, I guess none of it worked.
Well, no, what I meant was like filming techniques. Like CGI kind of.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think honestly, special effects and prosthetic work always just looks better.
Yeah.
I mean,
Definitely. I know how realistic it is.
I know you haven't seen it yet.
Correct.
But I think it still holds up because of the special effects were so cool and they still hold up. If it was CGI, which there is a thing movie and it's like a prequel and they use CGI and it just doesn't. It's not as good.
Yeah. I mean, at the moment when you see it, you're like, oh wow, it's amazing that they're able to make this. But it doesn't age well because it's not real.
No.
And it's like, at least with puppetry and stuff, you can admire the artistry in it.
Right.
And
so I always appreciate
it feels more realistic.
Yeah. Horror movies and monsters that are, special effects.
Yeah. That movie, at the end of watching that, I really did think to myself, I don't know how I'll keep going on with this podcast. It really, really freaked me out. I don't think anything since then has nearly affected me to the extent
I don't think so
that I was affected by that.
It was one of the scary ones. Like it I have to think back on the movie that I have you watch, but it has to be the scariest one I've shown you.
I think so
far. And it is scary.
Because Hell House was scary, but like I didn't.
Yeah, Hell House is scary.
But not like in the same way. Like I was fine afterwards. Yeah. This one, not so much.
It had a lot of spooky things that made you think.
Right.
Like just Airbnb alone. It's like, cool. Anytime I go to Airbnb, I'm for a fucking creepy door.
Yes.
For a basement.
It's like super real in that way. Like, the mother character maybe wasn't super real, but the other creepy aspects
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your number one was
Barefoot.
What?
If anyone remembers that review, I gave it a fucking 0. It was, I still think about, I'm like, man, like, what?
Did you really?
Yeah, I still think about it because it just was so, not just bad, but like everything about it, just the concept, it was just so icky. And just, my God, this is a romance? Like, this is no. But the only trivia I could find on it, because there is nothing on this movie, is that it's actually a remake. It's a German movie.
Really?
Called Barfist. Which is, I guess, barefoot in German. Oh, like, I'm definitely not pronouncing it correctly. No. But it is a remake, and apparently the German version is good.
Oh, really?
A much better rating, and people were like, this remake's so bad, you have to watch the original.
Really?
So I'm like, I don't know if I'm interested in watching it ever, but if anyone likes the concept, I guess watch the original. So
because it'll be better.
Yeah, I mean, usually if it's an American remake, it's bad. I don't think there's any American remake where it's like, oh, that's definitely better than the original source.
Yeah.
So
once you put it into English, it gets
garbage.
Yeah. I feel like I didn't expect you to like Barefoot, but I think I underestimated the weird factor where I was like, you know what, it's not, in my memory, I don't remember it being as icky. And then like watching back, you're like, oh wait, this is very problematic.
So
Yeah, it's fair.
the one review I saw, someone said, if you want to compare the two, here's what I'll say. The beginning of the German movie started with the main character, the girl, I forget her name.
Yeah.
Walking, like just showing a shot of her like barefoot walking around the like institution floors, which relates to name Barefoot.
Right.
Whereas the remake starts with what's his name fucking.
Oh,
So-
right. Yeah. Fair enough.
Compare them.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if it's still like icky in the jar. It seems a lot of it's kind of the same.
Okay.
It seems like, you know, they still have love.
Yeah.
Still like she's had her mother trauma and she still has like a childlike nativity about the world.
Right.
But I don't know. Maybe it's just done better. So, but yeah, I don't have much else to say about it.
That's
It
okay.
just had to be number one.
I understand. It wasn't your favorite.
No.
It's okay. I don't really think that I have any others that will ever quite touch Barefoot.
Okay.
And
I wanted to add one small hitch to my top three because it was just
what was it? What was it, Demi? What was it?
it's bad,
Yeah.
but it was fun. You know, it's one of those movies where it's just like funny to watch. So
I feel like we started the podcast, the first couple episodes, we really were like all over the place with just really bad shit.
they were pretty bad. Yeah, I was like, because all my low ones, like it was all one of the first episodes.
Right.
God, why did we do this?
Right. We were picking
That
like,
was really fucking me off.
I know. I don't know why I was trying to actually torture you.
I'm supposed to enjoy these movies. Right. Where I did enjoy watching 50 Shades of Grey. So,
Yes.
you know, it wasn't all bad, but it was still low rated.
I think that there is some enjoyment in a little bit of torturing your friend. You're a little bit like, all right, let's see what I can get you to watch that you don't really like. But then there's also the point when you're watching so many movies that you're like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
That it gets to be not as fun.
All right. Well, those are our top three. So we're going to jump to
Q&A
for each other.
Yes. So my questions for you, what were your expectations going into these movies and how has the podcast evolved for you?
Oh, okay.
I'm getting real deep.
Yeah. Shit. I should have gone first. Okay. Whatever, lighthearted. I expected to find enjoyment, and I don't hate romance. I do love love stories. Like I love like seeing romance and stuff. I think I enjoy the concept of romance when it's not centered on it. Like if I'm watching something and it's supposed to be like anything else, like action, whatever, but then there's a love story there, I'm like, ooh, okay, I see what's here.
You like it when it's a not part of the main plot, like it's
Yes,
a
it's kind of like a subplot, unexpected type of thing. That's what I really enjoy. But I feel like I knew I was gonna enjoy some of the movies, and I knew some were gonna be bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know, I've been having a good time watching a change of pace,
Yeah.
new things, and
Uh-huh.
expanding on different actors and directors,
Yeah.
and things like that. And then what was the second half? How is the
Sorry, I asked you two in one. You're like, hold on, let me give my official interview question. How has the podcast evolved for you?
I think we've definitely gotten more specific with our notes and
Yes.
our dives into these movies. Whereas when we first started, it was just like, we were just talking out our eyes.
Yeah.
It's been growing in that way where we're actually kind of looking more into the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a movie where we podcast.
Right.
That's what we should do. So it's good that we've done that. So that's one thing I've noticed.
Okay. You can ask me a question now.
Okay, I will.
You're like, God,
So I have quite a few questions.
okay.
One of them's more related to like romance movies, and then one of them's more related to like the horror movies. So I will start. What was the first romance movie you ever watched, and how did it impact you?
I mean, really, if you think about it, the very first romances were those Disney movies we watched as kids.
Yeah.
And I would say it would probably be something like Thumbelina. Thumbelina was the movie that when I was a kid, every single night, my dad would tuck me in an Afghan on the couch with a milkshake and put on Thumbelina for me.
Yeah.
So that was my nightly routine when I was a little girl. And so that probably would be the first that made like a huge impact on my life.
Yeah.
And I think that for me, romance has always just been about hope. Like there's this element of the expectation and anticipation you get in other movies where you're like, how is this going to end? What's going to happen next? But you know that it's going to end well for the most part. Sometimes my favorite ones always end well positively. And I think it's just something that you can find joy in when other things in life are going any other way that they're going. Yeah. You're always able to like hold on to that joy in life. And that's what romance is for me. It's about that excitement and anticipation. How are they going to get and overcome whatever trials that they have to get to that happy ending?
That's a good answer.
Thank you. I'll go to one that has more horror question in it, and that is, why do you like horror so much?
Why?
Followed by, who hurt you?
I think for me, when I was young, it was always just something that was, I don't want to say like mysterious, but it was always a curiosity. I was always just like, what is that? What is that? And I remember Child's Play was like the first horror movie that really was on, and my older cousins would have it on, and it just like, I don't know. I felt like that curiosity for these characters and spooky. I really enjoy monster movies and spooky things like that rather than like slashers.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy that type of stuff. And I think I brought it up before, but my family's very much grounded in horror. I don't know what it is.
Yes,
since I was born, horror movies have always been around. So I think just growing up, I've just always been immersed in that. And I didn't watch a lot of horror stuff until I was older, but I read a lot of horror. So I was reading like Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I was watching Goosebumps and reading Goosebumps. And I think it was just like a curiosity for it. And I still have that. I don't know. I just enjoy, how is this story going to evolve? Like, what is this creature? What's going to happen here? And I think that's what keeps me engaged in these movies.
Yeah.
And who hurt me? I guess my family. I'm going to blame my cousin Ronnie specific.
Okay. Shout out to Ronnie.
Shout out to Ronnie. Is there a particular romance movie that you personally relate to? And if so, why?
Like ones that we watched, or just in general?
In general, I guess. Or if it's easier, you can say from what we've watched.
My answer is going to be so basic, but Pride and Prejudice.
Okay.
I think that one is the one that, and like anything that's kind of like a Beauty and the Beast.
I think say about Travis.
I think more as like they muff around the onions. Sharp claws. I think that like the main character being kind of like a bookworm, but still being a strong, independent woman. And I always do go for like enemies to lovers. That's always my thing. And witty banter. So is like really what I lean towards. I think that in my personal relationship, banter is a big thing for us. We really, I love that like playfulness and the being able to tease each other. And I think that that's when you read enemies to lovers or watch enemies to lovers, you always get really good dialogue between the characters. And I like a good slow burn. Like I like when you aren't gratified immediately with the couple coming together. Like you have to kind of stick with it and see what comes. And I don't know if that really counts as like, which do I relate the most to? Because I guess it's not really relating very much to my personal life, where, I mean, I met Travis, and when we first met, we don't really have much of a history of knowing each other. You know, once we met as adults, we started dating within a month. So that's not very slow for me at all. And we were friends first, so that's not really enemies to lovers and all that kind of stuff. But I think that those are just the ones that I gravitate to the most. I don't know if that was a good answer, but my next question for you. What horror movies are you most excited for me to watch, and why?
I'm excited for you to watch The Thing. It's It's one of my favorites, and I genuinely think it's just one of the best horror ever. So I'm excited for you to watch that. I'm excited for you to watch an Ari Aster movie. So like Midsummer or Hereditary. Like he's just a unique director. And I feel like he puts so much detail in these movies, and I think you would enjoy
the detail.
Like, I think you would enjoy taking them apart and trying to figure out the stories. And so I'm excited for you to watch one of his works, or both. Those are the ones that come to mind. You know, I have a lot of fun, more comedy ones that I think you would like, just to share some comedy horror with you. I got one more romance specific, and I'm going to jump to horror.
Okay.
So what's the most important thing you've learned about love or relationships from romance movies?
Ooh, okay. Communication.
Yeah.
That's
a good lesson.
Yes.
That's a great lesson.
95% of the time when there's some sort of downfall in one of these movies or books or whatever, it comes down to a lack of communication.
Yeah.
Which is why my least favorite trope is the miscommunication trope, because it's like, okay, if you just talk to each other, this wouldn't be an issue. I'm very big on talking things out. So I think that would have to be the number one lesson.
That's a great answer.
Yeah, thank you. If you could live in one horror world, which would you choose?
None of them. From the movies we've talked about on the podcast?
Yeah.
Okay. Part of me wants to say Pan's Labyrinth because of the fantastical elements, and I just want to be with fairies. But I don't think it's a good world to live in. I forget what the movies you've watched.
Here, I'll read them really quick for you. 13 Ghosts, Disturbing Behavior, Paranormal Activity, Barbarian, Nope, Carrie, Pan's Labyrinth, Willy's Wonderland, Triangle, Lighthouse, Hell House LLC, Prey, The Boy, Gremlins, Alien, Ready or Not, Krampus.
You know what? I'm gonna choose Gremlins.
Yeah, I was new with Gremlins.
Because I want my own.
Yeah.
I'll go.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll take the repercussions.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, so which horror movie did you enjoy much more than you expected from the movies you watched so far?
I have to say I enjoyed Krampus more than I thought I was going to. I did not think I was going to like it. I remember, I don't know if I told you this. I could have said this last week and I just forget. But going to the theaters, did I tell you? And seeing the sign for it and being like, never going to watch that. So I think that one, I really wasn't expecting to enjoy any bit of it. And it was actually pretty good. Which movies that you've watched have made you question your sanity the most, aside from what you've just stated?
Aside from Barefoot?
Yeah.
Question my sanity the most. I feel like I have to say One Small Hitch. Also Practical Magic, honestly.
Oh my God.
I know. I think both those movies just had a lot going on, and there just wasn't good pacing, and it was just kind of messy. But I was Practical Magic's definitely better than One Small Hitch. But yeah, I'll specify One Small Hitch because, and it was like the first episode, and I was like, oh my God, this is really gonna be the first one to start with. And I think it just made me realize the garbage that's out there.
Oh my God. Okay.
How has your perception of horror movies changed since you started reviewing them?
That's a good question. I mean, I've never liked horror movies. It's always been something that I've like very much stayed away from, and I would watch that every once in a while, like maybe once a year max. I really didn't watch them a lot because I don't like to be scared.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that has changed for me is recognizing my own tolerance for things. And I've always identified myself as someone who hates scary movies, and I can find enjoyment in them now. I can appreciate the interest that they bring, and kind of the ways that your brain works and like tries to jump ahead. And I find that very interesting, like that aspect of trying to solve the puzzle of this horror before the ending is fun. I am realizing there's a lot more nuance to the genre. Like there's so many subgenres within it, which makes sense because in romance there are subgenres too, but I think that within horror, there's just a very large umbrella. I feel like we've covered a lot of things within that umbrella now that I'm able to kind of like point at certain things and say, oh, this style or this style, and figure out what it is that I like and what it is that I really, really don't like about these movies. Is there any horror that actually scares you?
Yes. Like a movie specifically?
Yeah.
Or... So I really was freaked out by the movie Veronica. It's a few years old, but it got very popular on Netflix, and I want to say it's still on Netflix now. But I just don't like Possession. Freaks me out. And it's a Spanish movie, and I don't know what it was with that movie, but it just scared the shit out of me. I just was really spooked out by it, and I was watching it alone at night. So a lot of factors impacted it. When I was young, Pet Sematary was so fucking scary for me. That movie really traumatized me for a few years.
Yeah.
I was really scared of that one. Oh, there's another, I think it's called Caveat.
Okay.
And anyone who likes horror, the main image is like this really creepy bunny boy. That movie had this scene, and I think I told you briefly about it before, but it was like a dead body in this area, and a guy gets trapped in there. He's trying to get out, and the camera keeps switching from him to the body, and the body's just looking at him. And it keeps swapping back and forth, and it looks like it moves. And that scene, I thought about it for so long. But yeah, those are my scary ones.
Okay.
Was there a character in a horror movie you felt a surprising connection to? Carrie?
I would say maybe the nanny and the boy.
Okay.
I could see the evolution of her character and why she would go from ambivalent to suddenly believing that this doll is actually a boy, and the way that could twist your reality, especially when she like has those experience of leaving it alone in the room and it goes running and starting to think that you understand this weird thing more than you actually do. I could kind of put myself in her shoes in a way that I didn't expect I would. When I first heard of this movie, I was like, there's no way that I'm going to be able to understand her. And I definitely can see how she evolves into the tragic story that happens for her. What's your favorite part of watching these movies every week?
I do enjoy the idea of watching a new romance in hopes that I'll like these characters and their love story. Because I do like a good love story. So I do get excited at the thought of, if the plot sounds good, I'm like, oh, how are these characters gonna get together? And I hope I like the characters. So I do get excited at that concept. I don't know if there's been a lot of these romance where I really liked the love story or the character's love story. It's either like I like the love story or I like the characters.
What's been, not to jump and do another question, but what's been the most challenging for you
with watching
romance every week?
I think that is just that most of them are just romance. You know, like some like Stardust, where it had like fantasy action. Like I really enjoyed that. Or, you know, movies where it has more than just a romance. Sometimes when it's just purely romance, I'm just like, okay. Or, you know, some of the characters I just like don't like the male lead or the female lead. If they're just like obnoxious, the whole watch is just annoying for me. But yeah, I feel like, other than like Barefoot, I feel like a lot of these, you know, I don't know if there was a few of these I really liked the romance and the couples, you know, so Stardust was really fun for me. Are there any horror movies that you actually would like to watch and review?
I think the ones that I'm most interested in are the cult classic movies that have a pop culture
significance.
Yes. So like I enjoyed watching Psycho when I first watched Psycho because I was like, okay, now I understand some of the pop culture references around it. So I think that like getting that deeper knowledge into our humanity. So you know, the idea of watching The Thing is interesting to me because number one, I would like to understand more of those things that you enjoy. So I know that there are things about these old school horror movies that you make jokes about or whatever that I would like to be able to understand.
Yeah.
But also, I think that it's fun to see older ones, especially I find the older ones are a little easier to remove yourself from because of the graininess of the footage and all that kind of stuff. You're able to take a step back. So those ones are a little bit more fun for me to watch. The newer the movie, the better the production value, the more I get involved and invested, and the more it scares me.
That's very
So I think that those ones I enjoy less, although I do love like good production value, and I enjoy watching like Jordan Peele and stuff like that. But I prefer the ones I look forward to the most are ones that are older.
All right. Well, I think those are our questions.
Those are our questions. Hopefully that was somewhat fun. If not, you've scrolled forward to now to learn about our upcoming changes, what we're doing differently moving forward. So I think one thing that we've learned together is that watching 2 movies a week is a lot, and watching genres, so many of a genre that you don't choose to watch normally is very overwhelming.
Yeah.
I personally, it's funny because Demi and I both are like, oh my God, I can't believe I have to watch another. And like she says romance, I say horror. Meanwhile, I think watching romance is so easy and you could watch horror for days. So I think that for the sake of our mental and emotional health, we're going to break it down a little bit more and start doing 1 movie review a week. And we're going to keep like that concept of the common thread. So there's going to be something connecting for every 2-week segment. So there will be a horror movie within one genre and then a romance movie that kind of ties into it, but they're going to be a week apart.
Yeah. And this will also help us with our notes. Because I feel like we write so much and we don't have time
to delve in as deep as we
like kind of edit and adjust our notes properly. So we're just kind of throwing up everything, and I feel like we don't have much time to chat and really talk about other things in the movie other than just like
what's happening,
blurting everything out. So we want to kind of take more time to fix our notes up a bit and make them a little better and more digestible. And so I think this will definitely help us do that. So I have no idea how long these new episodes will be. We're hoping maybe an hour if we're in one movie. It seems like each of our reviews have been like 40 minutes to an hour per movie for our previous episodes. So it should be about that. But we're hoping this new format works out better for everyone. Because the alternative was every 2 weeks we do 2 movies. And, we didn't want to release less content.
Exactly.
So
hopefully that's okay. If you hate it, you can let us know and we'll cry about it later.
We won't do anything about it.
Right.
Definitely let us know.
Right.
Was there anything else
that's changing? I think that that's the biggest thing is we just needed to cut down how many movies we're watching. We both have full-time jobs and lives.
You can believe it.
Believe it or not. So I'm hoping that this eases it. I'm hoping also that for both of our sanity, it helps with relieving the amount of movies we don't like watching. Because it is a lot. I've watched more horror this movie than I've seen in my whole life. So this past year has been a lot. I'm excited to cut back.
And I think doing 1 movie a week will help us both review like together, which I think would be more fun. And so we'll see what happens.
We're going to try announcing the common thread this time instead of having it be a surprise. If you hate that, let us know and we won't do it anymore. But the common thread for our next 2 movies is that the title is a female name.
So Megan will be reviewing the movie Megan.
Oh, God.
Megan is a movie about a lifelike AI doll that's created to be a companion to a child and basically a parent's greatest ally. The creator ends up becoming a caretaker to her young niece and gives a Megan prototype doll to her, basically to kind of test it out. But then Megan decides to become the bestest friend ever and go full Chucky mode on everyone who best friend. I hope you like the movie, Megan.
Thank you, Demi. Unfortunately, there's no romances named Demi, but if you can guess what the romance movie is, let us know. But we will reveal that next week.
Surprise.
Right. You can check us out on our socials, Instagram, Threads, TikTok. How do you watch this? How do you watch this at gmail.com? How do you watch? Whatever. It's some variation of that.
Yep.
We have a milkshake, which has links to everything, including a Discord. So feel free to go and enjoy.
So thanks for listening, and we'll be back in
a week. Yeah, the new year. We'll be Happy New Year, by the way. Happy New Year. Whatever. And I hope you enjoy somewhat shorter episodes.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.